episode 4, which just came out today, earlier on. I had the chance to watch it. I put my review up on the channel, which you guys could check out right now. And I'm going to put a poll in the chat too. If you guys are watching this after it goes up, just let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to actually comment on this too. All the interaction, it really helps. You know, if you're just someone who only watches my videos and doesn't really, hold on a second, let me type this out. Doesn't really, it's hard for me to type and talk at the same time. Doesn't really like comment on my videos. You know, all the interaction really helps. And, you know, the likes, the comments, the shares, especially like one person shares to another person, shares to another person, the kind of grassroots word of mouth sort of thing. So, you know, keep that in mind in the future. If you feel like your comment won't matter or anything, it's like it definitely does. So let's see. How would you rate Dragon? Oh, I already typed that. Dragon Ball Daima episode 4. I'm going to do it on a 4-point scale. You can just tell me in the comments, even on my other review, on both. That would be great. What you would rate it out of 4 or 10 or whatever have you. It's up to you. So let me do the poll right now. So yeah, with regard to this episode, I thought it was great. For me, it's the best episode of the series so far. It had, you know, pretty much everything you look for in a good Dragon Ball product. It had fun, adventure. It had, you know, good animation. The music is all good. All the technical aspects are good. The writing is good, or at least serviceable. You know, so many new elements introduced, so many new concepts, items. Like I said in my actual review, it feels like, you know, Toriyama basically wrote an RPG. It says I need to change the resolution. Come on, YouTube. I don't care at this point. You know, however it comes through, it comes through. How's it going, Majin Utopia, Mall Bosk? No, you're not banned. Why would you think you're banned? The dog loving gamer. Let's see. Can you watch Dragon Ball Daima for free? I think on Crunchyroll you could watch videos on there without paying. You just have to watch ads. I don't really know. I paid for Crunchyroll and before that VRV for years, so I think you could just watch it for free on there. You just have to sit through ads, you know. But I don't really know. How's it going, Victor Vega? I got something in the oven right now, so I'll probably get up in a few minutes. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think of the episode? For me, you know, they introduced the new character finally, Pansy. And yeah, like she didn't say her name yet, but we already know what her name is because we're Dragon Ball fans. It's impossible to avoid stuff like that. But I like her design of the costume. The heck was that? I like her design of the costume. And, you know, like it looks like a shy guy. You know, it's kind of funny. In some ways, I often, you know, I think back to the first arc of Dragon Ball. And they go through the area where Pilaf lives. And it looks like Mushroom Kingdom. I remember when I was doing my reviews of the first arc on the channel, or, you know, if you remember, you could see all the chapters on the channel right now that I've done thus far up until a little bit into the 22nd tournament. And with that being said, I often was like, you know, I was wondering what inspired what, but I realized that Dragon Ball came out before Mario, Super Mario. Particularly Super Mario Brothers. So it was interesting because at first I thought maybe it was the other way around. That it's like, wait a second, I wonder if Shigeru Miyamoto or somebody like that might have been a fan of the Dragon Ball manga. I mean, it was super popular. No pun intended. It was Daima popular. And then in turn put some of that imagery he really liked. I mean, think about it. They're in a mushroom kingdom, and giant monkey destroys a castle. Makes you think. I really like, though, how much thought has been put into this show. You know, I don't know what the general consensus is. I don't know if people are waiting for the most part in America and English speaking countries for like, the English dub. I don't really care because I'm watching the show the same way I watch Super and stuff, which is in Japanese. First exposure at least. And then I'll watch in English at some point. Maybe I'll see the first 3 episodes in theaters. I feel like this episode should have been included though. Going to see just the first 3 episodes in theaters seems kind of like, unless they throw in something special. I don't know if it's like enough to really get me to go see in the theater, but I thought it was really good overall. Yeah, like I like how much thought they're putting in everything, like they tried their best to throw in exposition, which Super a lot of times like just didn't have enough of, or enough attempts to actually try and explain what was happening in each episode and why it makes sense, even if you're like, wait a second. One thing I forgot to mention in my review, for instance, is the whole thing with Goku saying how heavy it is there. So when that was happening, I was kind of like, but what about the time chamber? What about Goku training not only as a kid in the time chamber, right before his growth spurt into adult Goku, apparently, but also what about him training with Gohan there for almost a year? Shouldn't he be able to handle it? But I guess that handling higher gravity and also handling like the thicker, heavier air is slightly different. It's like atmosphere comparative to like the gravity of a special room. So, maybe you could try and apply one to the other. But at least, with this, they did throw in the whole thing of where Goku can't necessarily control his body and his energy as well with his child body, which is more than the effort that was put into GT. Goku and GT and his child body, the only real differences or limitations were that it was hard for him to concentrate for the Shunkan Ito instant transmission, and that he couldn't hold Super Saiyan 3 for very long because of his body, but that's literally it. Like, he was still able to beat everyone easily in his base, after training with Oob for 5 or more years. And, he was able to fight against a character who was stronger than Boo easily in his base. And then he only had to transform when Rildo transformed, and then had a bunch of people teaming up on him, the Sigma Force. Those Sigmas, they're going their own way, right? And, so like, and then Goku easily had him beat at that point, even after he became Metal Rildo. Like, the only reason he had a difficulty is because he took over and became the entire planet. And so like Goku couldn't just like beat his avatar and have him defeated. He was the planet at that point. So, there's at least a little more tension, Han, in this show, because like Goku has way more limitations on him. Which the thing is, like, after you beat an immortal being who's stronger than all the gods in the universe, kind of makes sense to do some sort of limit, right? Like, it makes sense to do some challenge that Goku has to overcome. I hope in the other worlds that there's going to be other types of challenges too that Goku has to endure, like different atmospheres and limitations, things like that, because that makes the show more interesting. It's not just like Goku easily could beat everyone in the end. It's like Goku even slightly has to struggle a little bit. So yeah, I'll talk about it in a couple minutes because I do have to grab my stuff out of the oven real quick. But with that being said, I do kind of have to wonder about some of the items in the plot devices they introduced in this episode, particularly with regard to the fusion bugs. So what do you guys think with that? What do you think is going to happen there? Because for me, that is like one of the most interesting new ideas that was introduced, because the fact that, well, you know, there's a type of new fusion method, there's a type of this or that could really change things up. I mean, we have the Pataras in play right now, which are supposedly permanent now, unless you go inside a Boo. You know, we have dance fusion, which could still happen theoretically between Goku and Vegeta and, you know, whoever. And then we also have the bugs, which seem like they're more like the Patara in that they don't really have a limit that we know of yet. I mean, it was only like a couple sentences where they explained it, in order to fuse any two characters who eat them together. So, you know, that's a interesting idea. So what do you guys think is going to happen? I'll be right back while you guys speculate a little bit. My chair is in charge. All right. So do you think that, do I think that, what is it? That Pansy is a young Toa? Not really, no. I don't know if Toriyama wanted to include a character like that he didn't create, you know. It's kind of like the whole Super thing. Like, every episode, it seems like it's more clear that this is not a part of the Super continuity, but it's just like no matter how obvious it becomes, people will always, it seems like will always kind of still try and argue it is, and that Super is the most canon thing ever, and Toriyama made it all himself with a box of scraps in a cave like Tony Stark, you know. And it's like, at this point, I just don't care. Like, I'm just gonna, you know, if I mention it in my videos, I mention it. But I just remember in the first episode being like, you know, seems like Neva is the one who invented the Dragon Balls, and the Daima, the Demon Realm Dragon Balls, are the very first ones, and so on and so forth. And then, like, I got so much pushback. No, they aren't. Like, you know, they don't know that. Like, blah, blah, blah. It's like, they're just older ones, and so on and so forth. And then this episode, that's exactly what Glorio said. And it's like, oh, so all the people who told me I was wrong were wrong and I was right. Wow, what a shock. It's just like, why do I care? Like, I just don't care anymore at this point, And it's not even like, it's not be like, oh, told you so or something. Like, it's more just like, Toriyama was a simple writer. Like, when he's constantly telling you something, it's not like some elaborate sort of like 4D chess in order to like have you be like, well, it's all going to make sense, because it's like, no, if they keep giving you little contradictions here and there, it's like, it's probably because that was the intention. So I just don't care anymore. It's like, if people don't want to believe what is being told to them, then that's them. I just don't care. Like, I'm done being right about things and no one ever taking my word for them. Or, no one, I'm tired, I'm done with like the fact that it seems like no matter how much time I invest in YouTube and make videos and stuff, like my word holds no weight in this community, no matter how often I'm correct about it. And it's just like, I just can't care anymore. Like people, it is what it is. Like it's always going to be that way. And I'm just not going to waste my time anymore caring about it, because that's just the reality. Like if people don't want to listen to me, but then some other guy can say the same thing who has more subscribers or that you invest more interest into, go ahead. I'm done wasting my breath on it. I'm done with a lot of it. Like I'm almost at the point where I'm done reviewing the show, as a matter of fact, because it's like either YouTube doesn't promote it or nobody wants to watch my reviews. And so it's like, well, I'll just enjoy the show on my own. Like what's the point eventually? Like they'll go and watch some clickbaiter in mass, but they won't watch anything that I put on the platform. It's like that's just the reality of the situation. I just gotta do what I gotta do. But I'm enjoying the show, and that's all that at the end of the day really matters. I think it's the best modern Dragon Ball we've gotten for the 4 episodes we have. Maybe it won't last much longer in terms of that. Maybe it'll go downhill. I don't really know, but it just is what it is. And I'm just enjoying the ride, It's like that's all we could really do, I guess, in life in general. We just enjoy it while it lasts, the good times, and we try and just accept the times that aren't. And like this is one of the things I do like and appreciate about this show, in that there are times where like it seems like a franchise is just not going to ever be good again, where it's like, it's reached that point of no return and like everything it's doing just isn't good, but then suddenly here's a great thing. It's like Saw is an example, right? I never thought the 10th Saw movie would be one of the best ones, and yet it was great. Like, is it perfect? No. Is it the best one? No. But is it one of them? Yeah. And it's like 10 movies in, this movie's great, what the hell? But yeah, it is. And so it's kind of like I had gotten to the point with Dragon Ball for a while, where it's like I don't know if I'm ever going to really enjoy a new Dragon Ball, at least show, anywhere near as much as I used to, And oftentimes you start to think with a long-running franchise, especially when you've been watching since you were a kid, you start to think like, maybe I'm just too old or too phased out of this. It's just like I'm too jaded and cynical. And, I got to that age where it's like I can't enjoy it, or I can't like this or that. But then I do. It's like, wow, no, I was wrong. I do enjoy it. There is more good that can come out of this, you know. You just need the right people working on it with a passion. And that's what, you know, that's what like the movies were of Super thus far. Most of the Super for me, the show wasn't very good. Like the writing was downright terrible for a lot of it. You know, like the power scaling made no sense for much of it. But the movies were really good. You know, the Broly movie is a great visual spectacle. You know, it made me enjoy Broly a lot more as a character. And superhero, you know, like I was like, oh, I don't like this 3D CGI and this and that. But then I watched it, and I'm like, this, you know, you get used to that 3D. I prefer 2D. This movie's still really good. I enjoy it. You know, maybe not as much as the Broly one, but I still really enjoyed it. It was the thing that I enjoyed the most was like the world, was the feeling, was like the progression, which so much of Super felt like it was The Simpsons, where it wasn't progressing no matter what. Like they refused to move forward. And then Superhero felt like that, you know, it felt like it moved forward. Daima, to be fair, has kind of gone back again, where now it's like a year after the Boo saga. Everyone's regressed into children, you know. That could definitely be something that turns people off 100%. I get it, like with GT, with Goku regressing in that sense. But it's still doing things so differently, and the execution is so good thus far that it's like, okay, there's that thing against it. You know, Goku acts a little kiddie, right? Even though he's an adult in a child body, you know, he's still acting a little regressed in that way, but still everything else is so well handled that it's really good. You know, like, would I prefer a show that goes past the end of Z, like GT did? Yes. Would I prefer Goku totally move forward with his life as a character? Yes. Like, I want to see, that's one of the best things that Toriyama did, progression. Like, I'd rather see everyone become old than children. I'd rather see Goku with like white hair and a beard and stuff like Toriyama drew him as his idea of what old Goku would look like, and then having to become a master, having to deal with the fact that, oh, my body ain't what it used to be, you know, like I gotta use more technique, I gotta be careful in these fights, you know, I gotta train the next generation. Like, that's way more compelling to me than here's another transformation. Goku's gonna fight characters from another multiverse now, or like he's gonna become Ultra Instinct 6, and you know, like I don't care about any of that. That's just dumb and boring to me, you know? I'd rather watch Goku becoming a child and going to another realm with totally different rules and mechanics than anything that like I see fan art a lot for Super, for instance. And it's like, I saw this one picture earlier, which I've seen before, of Goku leaving the hyperbolic time chamber, and he has mastered UI, and Broly is with him, and Broly has mastered UI. And I'm just like, this is what so many Dragon Ball fans want. And it's like, I don't want this at all. I don't ever want to see something this stupid on screen, like stupid in a bad way, you know? It's like, this, why would anyone want this? Like, what is enjoyable about watching Broly with mastered Ultra Instinct? Like, they would have to invent so many more powerful characters to even combat him at this point. Like, they're already able to blow up a million universes because of how strong they are. It's like, there's nothing good or fun or enjoyable about that. Adding more limitations and making the characters weaker has way more room for growth with enjoyment and doing something different than any amount of power-ups you can give them. That's boring. That's like lame. That is played out and dry and stale. All the things I hear about, you know, stuff like this. And yeah, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's just, you know, vital. I'm not sure what you're saying in that regard. It's like every anime is like that. Like, what do you want? What do you want? Like, do you either want 20 minutes to massively progress a story and only have a 12 episode series? Or do you want, you know, that to me is more like, you know, you want the instant gratification of watching the whole show right now. Well, then wait a few months and then watch all the episodes when they build up. That's what I used to do with a lot of shows, you know? Like, if they released Daima all at once, then people would watch it in a weekend, all the reviews would come out, and then people would move on from it. They wouldn't be talking about it. That's the reason why shows are staggered now. They saw the Netflix model, and they're like, wait a second, we want to control the discussion, the narrative, so we want to make it go longer. It's like there are so many shows that have slow pacing and they're one episode a week. They're 20 minutes of anime, and they don't necessarily move the plot massively forward. But that doesn't make them bad. It just means that they're differently paced, and you just don't have the patience to sit through it, which is fine. Just wait and let them build up. Watch other shows and then watch that. Like what needs to happen? Does Goku need to show up at Goma's palace right now and fight him and then beat him and take Dende home? Like what do you want to see? I don't really know. Like you want more runtime. Okay, I see. I mean, for me, it's like, it'd be cool, I guess, but it doesn't really matter that. I mean, most of the runtime of the first episode was a recap. Like half the show was a recap of characters watching things that we already saw. So it's like, does it really matter? For me, it's like, I'm just enjoying it. Daima thus far is like a chill show, but I don't know. I don't know what the main sentiment is out there. I'm not watching any reviews. I don't really care, to be honest, at this point. I don't really watch Dragon Ball videos in general. I just see that, my videos aren't really getting views. So it's like, well, does no one care about Daima, or do they just not care what I have to say about it? I don't know. It's like maybe they think that I'm just going to not like it because of the fact I wasn't really into Super, but it's like, that's always been a track record on my channel. It's like, if I love or really enjoy something, then no one's there for it, but if it's the opposite, then they're there, but then so is the negativity. So you can't really win in that case. That's why sometimes I just consider, just enjoying it to myself and then maybe talking about it in the future. But I mean, I said the whole year, like, I don't think Daima is going to help my channel. And thus far, it hasn't. So, I would have preferred to be wrong, but unfortunately, I'm right. That's the thing. I don't want to ever say I told you so. I'd want to be like, it's great. I'm glad I was wrong, but I'm not. So, just is what it is. More important thing is I can enjoy a show as a fan of the franchise, and I can go back and rewatch in the future, and hopefully it'll be good the whole way through. And it'll be one of those shows I rewatch and enjoy for years to come. I can show my friends and family in the future, and that's more important than getting views. I mean, that's just how YouTube is. People are more interested in, it's always funny because a lot of times I get people who are mad and they're like, we don't care. Stop talking about stuff from 30 years ago. But it's like, well, those people obviously didn't look at my channel and the views, because most people only care about when I talk about stuff from 30 years ago. It's like I should have just changed my channel to Nostalgia Media or something. But even then, the Nostalgia Critic can talk about some new stuff and people will tune in and watch. So I don't know. I don't know if it's the algorithm. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to focus the whole live discussion on the fact that I'm annoyed about this and that it just doesn't let me relax or chill on Fridays, because I got to put up with the fact that, this is basically YouTube making me feel the way it used to. At least last month did really well for my channel. I appreciate everyone who supported those videos that came out. And, I do what people watch. I make videos about what people enjoy. And I try and make the videos about what I enjoy and hope they sync up together. And yeah, like at least with the Daima reviews, I don't do them like I used to do with my old Super reviews, where I screen cap a million things and I spend an extra day editing them and put it out. I saw the trend and I'm like, I'm just going to watch the episode once now and then talk about how I feel. And, as much as I can remember, that's how it's going to be. And then I put it out. And at the very least, I didn't spend way more time. You know, it's like my recent video on the channel, which was yesterday's video, as a matter of fact. It feels so long ago now. Speaking of time, it was how does time travel work in Dragon Ball? Well, Dragon Ball Z. So like for over 10 years, I wanted to make that video. And I always built it up in my mind. I'm like, this could be the biggest video I ever make. And this could be like such a big deal. Like it's, you know, I'm going to put so much time and effort into it and make it the most like impressive video I ever made with amazing editing and, you know, music. And like, I'm going to do skits where like I show up and talk to myself in the future, all that stuff. And eventually I just was like, you know what? I'm never going to make that video because it's going to take so much time and effort, at least a month to just make one video. And I've been thinking about it for years and I never had the energy to do it. And so I just was like, I'm just going to make it the way I make it. I'm going to do the fun thing where I wear a scientist outfit and my glasses I usually don't wear and just go for it. And just put it out. I'm going to use Photoshop instead of a whiteboard I have to buy, and I don't know which one to buy, so I'll just use Photoshop, and I'll do the timelines, I'll talk about it, I'll draw, you know, whatever have you, and put it out. And I did, and then it just basically bombed. You know, it was they always show you the top 10 video in terms of performance. And so I put the video out, and it was in 9th place, and it just hasn't performed. Like so many other videos that I didn't care anywhere near as much about, that I didn't build up in my mind, they all outperformed it. You know, like some videos I just thought of recently, you know, I just put them out there and they performed. And so for me, a video I spent so much time thinking about over the years and so much effort and everything like that. And of course, the video I mentioned, my time travel book in, all of that, and then it bombs, you know? And I just was thinking like, it's just another video to everyone because, I mean, it's not even that much of a video to them apparently. And so I was just thinking after I put it up, like, man, if I had spent all the time and effort I really wanted to and put this into that video, and then I released it and it just was DOA, like I would just quit YouTube right then and there. I would just be like, fuck this. I hate this. I'm done. Because it's like I'd be so burnt out and depressed from making that video and it bombed, you know? And like I would just be so angry and so like feeling like it's such an injustice that happened. And, you know, I'm so fucking tired of the fact that like I worked so hard for so many years and people still refuse to support my videos and blah, blah. And instead it was like, well, at least I just made the video and did it. At least I had fun making it. And I gave it the best shot I could without having to put an insane amount of time and effort into it. And then I did it, you know, and I put it out. And I just moved on to the next one. The Gohan video, predictably, is done a little bit better than that video. And it just sucks because it's like, you know, and then I had people commenting on the video itself, which it irked me a little bit, where it's like, oh, you should have Plague Gripes on here. He's actually an expert in this. And I'm just like, I have a lot of respect for him. I've worked with him before, but it's like, you might as well just be saying, go fuck yourself, Mike. We don't care about your opinion on this idea, even though you've literally talked about and explained it for over a decade now, you know? And so it's like the fact that it was something I wanted to make for so long and then it didn't perform well, it still didn't feel good, obviously, but like, I probably would just quit YouTube right then and there if I had done the video I really wanted to do. And then it just bombed. So yeah, that's just how YouTube is though, you know, and over time I've come to really accept it. And, you know, for all I know, this could be the last review I do of Daima, or like this could be, because it's like everyone performs worse than the last one, and all of them, like, they're all 10th place, 10th place, 10th place. And so you could feel great the whole week. Oh, this video did well, this video did well. And even though I know for a fact these Daima reviews aren't going to perform, it still hits you with that 10th place and is way below even your lowest expectations. And that never feels good. So it's like, you know, why even, I don't know. Like, if I'm not having fun doing them and they offer no benefit, it's like I enjoy talking about stuff I like, but what's the point at that point, you know? Like in the entire run of the video, it'll be lucky to get as many views as the even the time travel video did in the first few hours. So it's like, well, I mean, if nobody cares that when I make it and YouTube doesn't want to show it to anyone, then why does it matter? So I don't know. I mean, it's like you can only lower your expectations and change your kind of like win condition so much before eventually it's like, why even play the game? So that's kind of how it is for me. It's like just frustrating. And I wish, I didn't want this stream to be like this, but it's just impossible for it not to be for me at this point, because I just get so frustrated by the platform and by, the fact that it's like I enjoy this and I want to share my enjoyment with people and no one cares. Or YouTube at least refuses to show it to the people who will care. So I don't know. I want to at least get that out of the way so I can talk more about what I want in the show. And, with that, I do want to see, I don't know, I want to see more like RPG elements moving forward, I guess. I mean, that's why I said in my review, it feels like a not live action. It feels like an animated RPG. So I'd love to get more of that, more mechanics. Like I want to see Goku and friends learn new powers and stuff like that. I want to see like this and that, and that'd be great. But, we do see Goku as a Super Saiyan, so I don't know if that's really going to happen. Oh, thank you so much, Alexis Reyes Corosini. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. Sorry if I didn't. Which, thank you so much for joining the channel. Emojis for all. You get access to all my live streams that aren't public, like this one, after they go up. And, a lot of other videos. I got tons of member exclusive videos. Because, I want to at least give people something for supporting my channel. I want to give them as much as I can. So, yeah, so much stuff that you'll have access to. You could also join the Discord server now. You might have to scroll a little bit. Sorry about that. But if you go to the community tab, you could scroll down and you could see that. So, yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. But let's see. It's a sobering reminder, be grateful. Hey, I mean, I'm doing my best, to express gratitude. I'm still here every day. I really do my best, but, we're all human beings. And so sometimes you kind of have to wonder what the purpose or the plan is for your life, and, what you really are supposed to be doing so that, you'll actually feel that emotion. I mean, one thing I'll say is, our life, well, it's not guaranteed. So we got to do the best to enjoy it while we can. Yeah, I appreciate that, Alexis. And I always appreciate any support and people who are showing up, especially on the live streams, because anyone who shows up and watches the live streams, they comment, they participate in the polls. All that's that much more important. If somebody just watches the videos, but they never say anything, they don't like it, they just move on. That's kind of like, well, did it matter to them? Does anything ultimately that I do have any value to them? And so it's like, at least when people, they comment, they show up, it determines, well, stuff's a little spicy. What is it? It at least shows me that some people enjoy it. So. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Alexander. I appreciate you joining as well. If you want to join the Discord server, I don't remember if I finished that sentence, but you can go to the community tab on my channel, click my channel, then community. You can scroll down and there's a member Discord server you can join. We actually have tonight finishing up the creative writing challenge we're doing on there. So, I wrote a whole short story that I'm going to be publishing on the server, I guess. It's 5-6 pages right now. I'm just going to do a little touch up of it and put it out there. It's called Warrior of Shifting Sands, I believe. And it's pretty interesting, I guess. I mean, hopefully people like it. But, I actually have some books I wrote this year, too. Like, I've had a lot of creativity this year, fortunately. So, first of which I hope to actually self-publish in the very near future. I just have to do another draft and rework it a little bit and then see what my editor thinks. And like he wanted me to do like try and pursue publishing with like a publisher, but I'm just like I don't want to. Like I just want to put this out and just let it be what it's going to be, Let the outcome be what the outcome is. If it succeeds, it's supposed to. If it doesn't, it's not supposed to, right? That's kind of how I view it. So I mean, I could do that on the surface, when we're all humans, so you could know something analytically, but then when it happens, it still won't feel right to you emotionally, but kind of how it is. Daima is for a more intelligent audience that likes story building. I mean, I guess so. I mean, yeah, like I love the world building that's going on. I love the creativity and a lot of the other elements that are there. So, yeah, I think a lot of it's good. I've always been an RPG fan, so the fact that's I don't know how loud the siren is for you guys. Sorry, I have all my windows open. The fact that it's so unique in that sense. Of course, they have to come right here, so you might see the flashing lights behind me in a second. But yeah, like all the world building elements, the RPG elements, everything's like that. That to me is really good. It's like that's the stuff I want. But it's always felt like, what I want is really at odds with what most of the fandom wants. And, it doesn't really feel good, to be honest. Like, I guess, like a normal human being, I guess. I don't know. I like to be a part of the enjoyment of something. But if I find out in the future that most people don't like Daima and they think it's lame and they just want Super Saiyan 5 and, more power-ups and explosions and everything, it's just like, why'd I have to be born like this? Why can't I just enjoy things that they do? Like why can't I be a part of the fun? Why do I have to be an unintentional contrarian? Do you think we'll see flashbacks of Debora and how Babidi was able to control him? Maybe. I know in the OP we see somebody with Debora in the background. I don't know if that's supposed to be his father, Abra, or Abora, but that'd be cool. I mean, if he's anywhere near as cool as King Cold, then I'm going to be all about that. I like, in some way, I like Frieza's Papa more than him. So, if that says anything about Debora, then he's going to be one of my favorite characters. Although it probably means that he'll be there for like one episode. Like a lot of my favorite characters, they're in Dragon Ball, they're barely used and they just like die. So, we'll see. One thing I do wonder about is what's going on with Glorio. Because with Glorio, in this episode, we'd seen like he had this weird exchange with Supreme Kai where like Glorio told Goku to go and get the Dragon Balls from the different protectors so that, you know, he could use the Dragon Balls to help get Dende back and go back to the normal world. And that they could use the Earth Dragon Balls to wish back, you know, themselves into adults. But then he turned around after he just this weird stare off he had with Supreme Kai. He turned around and then he gave like a smile. Just like a brief smile. It's like that just like, you know, it seems to me like that is supposed to be alluding to something. You know, I know that, like I said in my review, I know that sometimes people will read into things like that in this fandom. So like, for example, we had, what is it? We had like Daishinkan, the Grand Priest or Great Minister, whatever they call him in the English dub. You know, he smiled and Goku had kind of like a stare down with him in the Tournament of Power after I think Universe 9 was erased. And so it was kind of weird. Like a lot of people are like, oh, is this going to lead to something bigger? Is, you know, like, is it going to be like the battle of like the mortals versus the gods? Like this could be really interesting, but then nothing like that happened. So, you know, like we get this with Glorio, but the way he does is kind of like Loki or somebody, you know, he like, it seems like he's trying to guide Goku to do something so that he could take advantage of the situation. Like, he, you know, even Supreme Kai said to him, don't trust this guy, you know, and then we get a moment where he turns away from Shin so that Shin can't see his face, or Shin passed him and then he turns around and so him and Goku can't see his face. And then Glorio just turns and the camera is above his smile, but make sure to capture, I say the camera, but the way it's animated, it makes sure in the frame to capture it like here down. And so with that being the case, he smiles. And so it's like, that must be intentional. Like that was like a villain type of, that's a villain technique. That's Glorio's technique, you know? And his name's also similar to Wario's, the plot thickens, but no, he, like it definitely seems indicative of something more sinister going on. So yeah, it's, that's something I have to wonder about. And, you know, again, gives you more intrigue for what's to come. Maybe he is Debora's son, although he's blue. You know, Pansy seems to have a very similar design to him as well. They both have the blue skin. Maybe Glorio and Pansy are brother and sister. Maybe they're Mira and Toa, like some people have been trying to say, you know, and this is them when they're young. Hey, you never know, right? Thank you so much, Michael. Your passion for Dragon Ball is so neat to keep going. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, any of you guys that are showing up and contributing in any way, super chats and everything else, I appreciate it. And, you know, also the fact that, you know, if you guys are enjoying the show, that's great. I like it when, I don't know, I like to be a part of the fun, the enjoyment, you know, I don't only like to be negative. Like people are like, oh, for so long with Super, it's like, oh, you're such a hater and blah, blah. And so for me, it's like the fact that now I can talk about something that I unironically am enjoying on like a weekly basis. That's one of the few reasons I keep doing the reviews, because, well, I mean, I feel compelled to do it and talk about it in a positive way. So yeah, that's the thing. And Daima is something I'm really liking thus far. And, you know, if you guys haven't voted in that poll yet up here, let me know. I mean, so far we got 54% of people saying they give it a 4. 3 is getting 23%. 2 is 12%, and 1 is 11%. So it's a little less one-sided than it was before. most 46% of the audience seems to not have the top score for it. So, hasn't been that high in the previous episodes. Maybe I'm in the minority thinking this is the best episode thus far. But, I think for me, like, the weakest episode would probably be, like, the second one. Last episode was pretty good, actually, but, it had a lot of the creativity of going through the warp realm and going to this new planets or new dimension, stuff like that. So I liked it. But yeah, I mean, Glorio could take after his mom. Who knows? We don't know what Debora's wife looked like, right? Maybe it was a Rinsu. The plot thickens. Debora was clapping those Makayo Shin cheeks, right? He liked him a vampire woman, a goth girl, right? Like everyone on the internet now. So hey, what am I gonna do? Blame him? It only makes me appreciate Debora even more. So he was a man, or I guess demon, of culture. I mean, what honest to goodness man doesn't like a walking red flag? If I didn't, my life would be a lot less stressful in the past. I don't know. Debora clapping Shin's sister. Hey, that could explain their past history of knowing each other, right? Maybe that's the reason why Shin knew and was afraid of Debora, because he was his brother-in-law, and he was like, "Oh, I know Debora. He was tapping my sister, and turned her evil with his other spit." But no, I'll be right back. Man, that's the real reason why Shin left Demon World, right? His brother-in-law, kind of changed the home a little bit. Shin was the man of the house, and then he met a real man, a D-man of the house, and he changed it all. He just came home one day and heard some weird clapping sounds coming from Arinsu's laboratory. And then all of a sudden, Debora walked out, buck naked, drinking a demon beer. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing in my house?" And then Shin was like trying to be like, but I'm the man of the house. No, you ain't no man no more. Your sister knows what a real man is, a D-man. Get out of my house. And then she goes, I'm going to go become a Supreme Kai in another universe. And he ran away. And then, yeah. And then his boss, at least his boss is the one who killed Debora, right? He turned him into a cookie and ate him. In a roundabout way, right? Round because he's Fat Boo. But yeah, he then his whole team got beaten down by Kid Boo. And then Kid Boo ate his boss, and then his boss is the one who beat and killed Debora. And so, I guess Shin got his victory after all. It all works. It just works. 16 times the retcons. Shin had a little giggle to himself off screen after he found out how Debora died. It's not like anyone told him the Boo saga that we know. I guess he just assumed it happened. Hey, so what happened to Debora, by the way? Oh, yeah, Boo turned him into a cookie and ate him. Oh, yeah? Maybe he's the one who, he's the one who told, King Yema real quick. He's like, hey, Debora would like hell too much. Send him to heaven and make him pick flowers the rest of his life. Yeah. For deflowering my sister now. We thought he had a smug smile when he met Goku. He should have seen that smile off screen. Toriyama couldn't even draw that level of smugness. Yeah, we're finally in this arc where you get Resurrection D. And then Arinsu's gonna get the D from Debora. And then Shin is like, wait, Resurrection D. And then Debora shows up. Yeah, D's nuts. And then he turns into stone. Got him. Oh, you thought I was finished? Nah. Shin gets in Glorio's plane. Where do you think you're going, Shin? I was just preparing our escape pod. In a rocket built in a ship, in a plane built for one? And then Debora just crushes it and kills him. And then Beerus dies, if he exists in this timeline. Reality. Continuity. I don't know. Don't you think that maybe he would want to know about all this? Beerus-sama? Well, what do you want, Whis? So, funny story. Remember that weak, pathetic Supreme Kai that also somehow came from the Demon Realm? We never mentioned this ever. Remember how he, if he dies, you die? And, we never are supposed to let him out of our sight or leave the universe or anything just in case. What happened now? Well, he kind of got turned into a child. And now he's in another dimension that we can't go to. And he might die, at any moment. Really? Yeah. Could you wake up and maybe stop that from... No, I can't, because if I do, then Goku will meet me. And then he'll recognize me in Battle of Gods. And so I can't do it. Because it'll ruin the continuity even more and the super fanboys won't be able to accept it. Okay, Beerus-sama. Go back to sleep. I'll just watch and make sure. I'll just watch over everything and make sure you don't die like I did during the Boo Saga when you were also too lazy to wake up. Ugh, thank you. And also millions of years before that when Boo was literally killing all the Supreme Kais that you're connected to. And, you also didn't want to wake up then. You lazy fuck. I mean... yeah. Beerus is so lazy, he's like, oh, at least if I die, I'll be able to sleep forever. Just let that pink monster kill them. I don't care. Just let him go to the demon realm. I don't care. I don't want to have to go there. Just let him die. It would be funny, though, if Beerus was a kitten. They're just going to have, like, the next chapter of Super. It's going to be like, hey, Beerus-sama, remember when you got turned into a kitten that one time when these demons came to the Earth and used their Dragon Balls to turn everyone into children? And the Supreme Kai that you're connected to, who is also originally from the demon realm, and he's called a Glib, he turned into a child, and so that you did too. And remember how you did nothing about all of this because you didn't feel like it, because that would interfere with the plot of the future movies and then the show that we are in right now, in the manga? Remember that? No. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, sorry. I was looking at a different reality with my powers that are very illy defined. Why didn't I stop Shin from dying in those other timelines? I probably could have done it. But then again, that wouldn't be fun. I'm an angel. I'm like a sociopath, so I have to get entertainment somehow. Remember when my dad smiled after they erased a universe right in front of him? And like the horrifying existence of the fact that everybody just poof, disappeared. And he just smiled and I just giggled inside. It was funny. I've known you for millions of years. I've trained you. I probably knew you when you were a kitten. And then I just was like, well, you might disappear. I won't. Sucks to be you. I hate you, Whis. I know, but it doesn't matter because I could one-shot you at any point. Unless you have other transformations that Toriyama didn't get the chance to reveal. Which explains why you're so much stronger, still, than everyone else. They just look exactly the same and you don't mention that you have them. Yes, I have 10,000 of them. That is why nobody can ever surpass me. Even Jiren, who is stronger than his own god of destruction. But he's a clown, so he doesn't have a transformation. Doesn't seem like a power imbalance to anybody that, like, Beerus is like a million times stronger than almost every other god of destruction, apparently. Like, Jiren is stronger than his own god of destruction, but Beerus could just like finger flick Jiren to death immediately? Like, doesn't that mean that Beerus would be able to do that to Belmod too? And like, or like we saw that fight in the like the little lead up to the Tournament of Power. It's not like Beerus seemed like he just would beat everybody with like a sneeze, right? So, Hey, shut up! Stop thinking. So, yeah. Where was I? I don't know. Why would they pick Belmod to be the god of destruction when he's so weak? Universe 11 must actually just be a weak ass universe in reality. Why would they pick Topo to be the next god of destruction when even after he becomes the god of destruction, gains all the god key, he's still like nowhere near as powerful as Jiren? Why does becoming the god of destruction still make you nowhere near as powerful as some random jerk in your own universe? Like, what is, I don't know, the point? Like, okay, we picked Topo. He's my apprentice. Okay. But even after he gets all of the God of Destruction power, he's still like maybe 1% of Jiren. Oh. Why didn't we pick Jiren? I don't know. Why didn't we pick someone half as strong as Jiren so that like maybe his power at least gets twice as strong when he gets the God of Destruction power, so that he'll be stronger than this dude who, if he just, I don't know, turned evil, or if like another Kaioshin from another realm decided to use Super Dragon Ball to swap bodies with him, that he wouldn't kill the God of Destruction in his own universe and then every other God of Destruction. Hello? Is this thing on? Who makes these decisions? Why would Belmod pick him? I mean, why, I don't know. So wait a second. If the God of Destruction can just have his angel bring somebody back to life at any point, and Beerus let Whis do that as a gift for Frieza, and I don't know, maybe Jiren, who hangs out with the God of Destruction and then the apprentice God of Destruction, I don't know, hypothetically knew this, but why the hell didn't he just like tell Belmod to do that years ago for his master instead of using the Super Dragon Balls to do it? I guess he just didn't tell him just in case there was going to be a tournament that their universe would be at stake that they'd found out about less than 2 days before. Whatever. Don't think about it, guys. One episode of Dragon Ball Daima has more thought put into it than most of Super in total. Are we going to get Blue Outfit Goku after Daima? I mean, maybe. I don't know, because, I mean, they could still pull what I've often wondered if they'll pull with GT and Super, where they just try and pretend they're all part of the same timeline. So, I guess they'll just be Whiskey, like a couple years after Daima or whatever. We'll just get like forced flashback slash forward slash flash in betweens of Jiren, of like Goku and Vegeta training. Hey Vegeta, remember when we were children? No, shut up. It just happened like a few years ago, right? You know we're not supposed to talk about that. But it happened, right? I mean, we went to the demon realm. We fought characters that can do this and that. Remember when Supreme Kai told me that they could just go inside a Boo and defuse at any time they wanted to? No, that never happened. But you were there. We were eating food together at Bulma's at your own son's birthday party. Remember that? No, I don't. Wait, which of my own sons? There's at least two of them, right? I don't know. I don't understand time travel. But I mean, to be fair to super fans, things happen in between panels of the manga, so it's entirely possible that after Shin told Gawasu, I didn't realize that I didn't realize it had nothing to do with Boo at all. When Goku and Vegeta defused inside of Boo, he could have been like, but it did for me, and it realistically should have for them, but I guess not, except, for the 1 hour thing, and, blah, blah. And then Goku could say, in the anime, wait a second, when Vegeta and we defused, like, why did that happen? And then like, in the 1 millisecond in between the panel, the frames changing in that episode, he could have been like, I remember Supreme Kai told me that that this happened when we go inside a Boo. Is that true? And then Gawasu's like, oh, it only lasts like an hour if you're not a Supreme Kai. The whole Boo thing has nothing to do with anything. The whole Boo part would just be off, It was off screen in the 1 second that we didn't see of that episode. I feel like Charlie from It's Always Sunny with like all those like papers that are connected behind him on the board. As an angel always has ultra instinct, her thighs squished his head when he was going... Oh. I guess that would explain how Jiren's master died. The evildoers actually, mistranslation. They meant to say it was a baddie. And it was Harley Quinn. Maybe that's the reason why Belmod was so weak compared to Jiren and Topo. Like they say, women weaken legs, right? Like Mickey said in Rocky. And, he had Harley Quinn as his angel, and he was the Joker. So, he had to rev up his Harley a lot, so that kind of made him weaker. It's like why Roshi got so strong right before the Tournament to Power. He overcame his weakness. Wait, Penguin's a woman in the new Amazon Prime show? I didn't know that. That's weird. Is it supposed to be the same character? What is her name? Instead of Oswald, Oswida? I don't know. Oswaldina? Is her name legitimately Oswalda? No cap? Dead ass? Did I enter the Twilight Zone? Oh my god, that's actually a real thing. How do we have such like a great penguin now with Colin Farrell? Aside from, him having like the nose and flippers and stuff. But how do we have such a great penguin And then I've heard the show is really good too. But then they basically do a revival slash spiritual sequel to Batman the Animated Series, and we get Oswalda. Ugh. Remake of the 42 volumes of the manga with the Dragon Ball Daima animation. I don't know. I feel like it. I don't think it's. I don't know. Like, I feel like if they were gonna do it, it would have already happened. Like, instead of them making Kai, then why wouldn't they've just remade the Dragon Ball manga? The thing is, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like a lot of this is also like rights disputes right now, right? With Toei, Shueisha, and the Capsule Corporation Company, run by Yoku, and who is going to control Dragon Ball moving forward. I mean, honestly, for me, I just kind of wish that Dragon Ball would go into a third party. Like, I don't really know what Capsule Corporation's going to do if they win, but if their idea is like, okay, we're going to take this and we're going to bring it somewhere else, we're going to take Bikini Bottom and push it over here, then I don't think that would be a bad thing. You know, like, if they, like, imagine if Dragon Ball was able to be made by another studio and they ended up having it be made by like Madhouse or Studio Bones or Studio Wit or somebody like that. That'd be awesome. You know, like, and then they did a remake with that type of animation. That'd be cool. I mean, I don't really think it needs to be remade. I think that people should just watch the original one. But, you know, that's one of the realities of life. People don't really like to go back and watch what they consider to be old things. You know, they prefer to just like watch new stuff and something that's new and, you know, jump on the fad and the craze and all that stuff. You know, that's part of the reason why so many, even like people who have never seen anything Dragon Ball related, they start watching Dragon Ball Super. Like, it's like, because they want to watch something new that's coming out in their time when they're alive and everything, you know? So, you know, it's like I watched Nosferatu like a couple weeks ago, you know, like the original black and white silent movie. And it's like, nobody will watch this of like this generation or even my own or whatever. You know, it's like very few people because, oh, it's an old movie that's black and white and it doesn't even have sound, you know, like why would anybody watch that? You know, like it's seen as like weird and pretentious to watch black and white movies a lot of the time, or like, why would anyone do that? And it's like, well, so Maul, you just said it's because Z and OG have bad animation compared to nowadays. They really don't, though. See, that's one of the things. It's that's one of the things. Like, people will watch something now and they'll be used to this current digital style of animation where things are very different, and then they'll look at like older animation, they'll be like, it's bad. Oh, it's in 4:3. Oh, you know, it's hand drawn. Oh, when I played on my gigantic flat screen TV that they didn't have back then, like you could see the in-between animation or like the zoomed out shots where there's barely any detail, and it's like, that's bad. It's like, no, it isn't. Like, you have to keep things in context for when they were made. And I don't think that the animation for Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z is bad. You know, the art sometimes could be a little iffy. I mean, even back when it was coming out, there were issues. Like, I mean, look at Super Vegeta. I'm Super Vegeta, and his face is all like messed up and stuff, you know, but it's like, I mean, there's stuff nowadays that looks like shit. You know, there's like a lot of this 3D CGI they put in anime looks like garbage the second it comes out. It's dated immediately. It looks bad. And it's like, that's newer, supposedly better technology. Like, why, you know, so for me, it's like I can go back and watch an anime from decades ago and still find the same amount of enjoyment with it. I'm watching Baki, the grappler from like the 90s, early 2000s, and I'm really enjoying it. And it's like, then, you know, it's like so many people now would never do that because it has to be new and it has to be like coming out in 2024 or 2025 or whatever. And it has to have like modern animation that they're used to. And like, I feel like people getting over and getting past what they're used to is one of the most important things when it comes to enjoying any media. Like if you can only watch and read something in your in like, the style of today that you're used to, something that's quote unquote contemporary, then you are missing out on the vast majority of content in the human history. Most movies have been made before most of us were alive. Most music existed since before we existed, like most art, most everything existed before today. The vast majority of the good content that exists came out before now. And so it just sucks that it's like the subtitle thing. So many people refuse to watch anything that isn't in their own language. A lot of it's because they want to multitask and barely even look at the fucking screen in an anime. And it's like, it's like I try not to get annoyed at it. I try to accept human nature and such, but it is frustrating when it's like I know firsthand how great so much content is, and so many people miss out on it because of superficialities like that. Oh, they're not speaking English though. Oh, I have to read subtitles? That's hard. It's like, no, it isn't. I have dyslexia. I can read subtitles just fine. Sometimes I miss it or mess up, but it's like it becomes second nature to you. It's so easy to do it, but you just completely miss out because you just don't want to try. And that's the problem. People don't want to ever try with new things, with anything older than they're used to, or anything in a different language or this or that. And it sucks because you miss out on the vast majority of good content that exists because you only want to watch something that's new, that other people are talking about, so that you could do the water cooler thing or whatever have you. And that is not, in a different language because you want to look at your phone or be on your laptop or jerking off, like whatever have you, and not looking at the screen because you're just too busy with a million other things rather than actually wanting to get true enjoyment and appreciation of what you're taking in. And, like I know firsthand, I'm somebody who is working in a really, by today's standards, almost outdated form of media. I'm like writing books. How many people read books anymore? Like people who read all the time, they are like, it's like a depressing reality that the written word, which has existed for all of human history for the most part, that like books exist, and there's so many great stories out there that are not animation, that are not movies, that haven't been and never will be adapted. People refuse to read them because they don't want to read a book because it's too hard and they're not used to it. But then like they'll read text messages on their phone, they'll read posts on social media, they'll read comments on YouTube, and they'll read everything in little bite-sized things, and they'll read memes and all this other shit all day every day, but they won't read a book. I mean, a lot of it could be the whole thing is like your dopamine levels at such a high level all the time with our modern technology and society, and people, they wake up and they immediately go on social media or play video games or whatever. So they're always all the way up here. So you can't really appreciate and enjoy something that's a little bit lower on the scale. That's why now I do my best to wake up and not immediately go on my phone, and not immediately do other things. I try and wake up and I try and relax a little bit myself and be calm and, maybe read a book and do things like that in order to enjoy. It's like even most of the people, and like I'm not going to pretend I'm not a part of this, I try and read a lot of books, like real books, like physical books and such, but there's a lot of books I will listen to, which is basically you're just listening to somebody else reading a book to you, but like I've done a number of audiobooks this year. And so it's like a lot of people, even hardcore readers, they won't actually read a book. They'll just listen to the book, you see? So I'm going to have to not only write these books, but then I have to do the audiobooks, which is fine. Like I've learned how to edit and speak and everything like that. I'm just gonna have to speak something I wrote. So it won't be as difficult. There won't be all the uhs and ums and stuff in it, that when I normally speak, the knows and like, and it will end up happening and exactly and all other idioms I use. But, it's just a matter of kind of like, well, I don't know. It's just the way of the world, and sometimes it's hard to accept it. But that's human nature. And so you can't really fight against human nature a lot of the time. You can fight against your own human nature, but the only person that you can really control in the world is yourself. And that's kind of how it is. Alan, you said because books use complex words or words that you haven't seen before, whereas tweets, Facebook, YouTube, etc. use most simple words. Well, then learn new words. Like, what do you want, dude? Like, you have a... So this is my opinion. I'm not trying to be judgmental, but it's like God gave you a brain in my worldview to use it. Like to like you have the ability to learn words. Why don't you want to do that? Like what, it's like these words are too complicated. Okay. Everyone starts out at 0. You don't know any words when you're born, but then you learn them. So like why, when you get to a certain point, why do you just want to stop learning what words mean? Isn't it more fulfilling and gratifying when you learn anything? I don't know. I mean, I've always been a really inquisitive person who likes to learn. It's like, for me, I know so many words in the English language that whenever I read something I don't know, it's like, wow, what does that mean? Like, and you have Google, you have fucking Google in your pocket at all times. If you're reading a book and it's like, what does that mean? Hey Siri, what does ingubrious mean?
Incubus means a male demon believed to have sexual intercourse with sleeping women.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Siri. You just got me freaking demonetized. But yeah, like you could just look up, you could literally just look on Google for things, it's like, it's so easy. Whatever. I said ingubrious Siri, but thank you. I appreciate that. See, she knew I was using a Windows computer, so that's why she wanted to get me demonetized right now. Isn't there a band called Incubus? It's like a new metal band or something. Yeah, you have to search, but I mean, I don't know. I'm just like, I was born in the wrong generation. I should have been born like the late 1800s, and just worked on a farm and just like, I don't know, been born in the early 1900s before the TV existed and just like wrote books and, people would read them. Before the radio became a big thing, and I don't know. I just don't belong in this world. I don't belong here. I'm a loser. I was thinking of that Patrice O'Neill bit he did on the radio years ago, where he's talking about how people love the song Creep. He's like, white people love Creep by Radiohead because white people just want to feel bad about themselves. I'm a creep. I'm a loser. I don't belong. Yeah. He got us figured out, that's for sure. Man was ahead of his time. And like all great comedians, he's dead now. It sucks, but hey, that's true. Candle that burns twice as bright burns half as long. His burned a lot faster than twice as bright, Yeah, pardon me while I burst into flames. Because I'm so fiery, How about that Daima, though? Step into the demon realm. Dragon Ball Daima. Brand new adventure begins. A story of a boy turned into a kid. He was a Saiyan strong, but now he's just a child. And he can't register to watch Girls Gone Wild. Your wish cannot be granted because there's only 3 Dragon Balls and you have to fight some Tamagotchis for it. Step into the demon world, Dragon Ball Daima. I wonder what those guys who made that song are doing right now. Maybe they can make a video with me about the Daima intro in the style of GT. That'd be cool. I do want to start doing some songs. Chilled, Frieza's grandfather, chilled, Emperor of the Universe, chilled, for my streams, or Debora, the Demon King. He was able to make Arinsu sing. When he spits, he turns you to stone. Now, how about you sit on his demon throne? I don't know. Siri already got me close to demonetization tonight. I don't know if I want to go even further beyond. Oh, I didn't remember that was from the band Incubus. I always did like that song, though. But yeah, I don't know. I have an overly complicated book, hopefully coming out sometime in the near future, about time travel. Hopefully somebody will read it. Hopefully. That would be nice. But hey, for me, it's just doing it is the objective now. Just publishing it, and then that's the objective. If any of you want to read my book, I will be posting Amazon links on my channel when I put it on Amazon, and that'd be cool. If I sell one book, it's a cherry on the top. Assuming I'm not the one who buys it, because then it'll be debt in the bank. I don't know. Whatever the opposite of a cherry on top is. Oh, that's good. It makes sense. Shenron, when he turned Goku and his friends back into adults, he messed up, and so they lost their memories, and also they became more unintelligent and more flanderized. It makes sense now. I couldn't think. I wasn't smart enough to grasp the how great Super is. But all right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I was trying to go for 2 hours, but, I talked enough about Daima tonight. We got some people I want to thank again. It's who joined again. Let me thank them. Alexis Reyes, Corsini. I can't pronounce your name correctly, sorry. Alexander Rhymes, thank you for joining the channel. You head over to Discord server and join the server with the Discord special link on the community tab. And Michael, thank you for your super chat. I appreciate that some of you guys watch this. Check out my review for a better review, I guess, of this from me. Yeah. Might be the last one I ever do, but we'll see. In the future of Dragon Ball Daima. Yeah, that'd be nice. Let me make sure I don't also make this unlisted when it ends so it doesn't sacrifice the extra 50 views I might get on it. Wait for it. Fuck it. See you later.